Dear all, welcome to this webinar dedicated to human capital, the engine of project success. Today we are meeting our speakers that are coming from different PMI chapters. So this is a interchapter webinar. Basically, today we are meeting people that have joined our project for the Light Up session and project. And we are going to have the following agenda. So basically, we are starting with an opening session. We will have a brief introduction by Giuseppe Stefanoni, that is the branch development director of the PMI Northern Italy chapter. Then we will pass to Aniko, that is representing the PMI Budapest and Hungary chapter. She will guide us through the drive, the change, or where the blame presentation. We are going to meet then Antonio from PMI Croatia. Antonio Priskan is the project manager guilty for everything. Let's see together. We will have a coffee break for 10 minutes roughly. So we are going to meet back at 6:29 with Silvia Latuada. That is going to be the speaker for the PMI Northern Italy chapter, and she will talk about the group norms. Later, we will meet Gregor Androina. She will talk about value-driven PMO. We are going to have a round table with some questions around 7, and we will be closing at 7:30. So I kindly encourage you to raise your question all along this webinar. I hope you will enjoy a lot this the speech from the different people. Basically, I now pass to Giuseppe the opportunity to welcome all of you and all of us. And so up to you, Giuseppe. Thank you.
Thank you, Matteo. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As Matteo mentioned, my name is Giuseppe Stefanoni, and I have the pleasure of serving the Northern Italy chapter board as a branch development director. So I'm here today on behalf of the entire board of the Northern Italy chapter to express our full support and recognition of the importance of this event. Light Up Reloaded is not just an interchapter initiative, but as we can see, it reflects many PMI value we deeply believe in. If I would choose 3 of them, I could say be welcoming, embrace curiosity, aim higher should be also applied, but also the other one. It's really a true honor to open this new edition of Light Up, our interchapter format. It was relaunched this year as a Light Up Reloaded with a powerful and timely subject, as Matteo mentioned, human capital, the engine of project success. What I have to say, some history of Light Up, which maybe could be summarized in a couple of words. This format was originally launched and set up in 2014, thanks to the collaboration between the Northern Italy chapter, Slovenia and Croatia. And just later on, Hungary and Austria joined this initiative, broadening our network. And this event was born mainly as an in-person event. In fact, Light Up was designed to create meaningful cross-border connection between the northeast border of Italy and the neighbor countries. In 2020 and from 2014 to 2020, it was set up many session in a different country with small attendance, but very, very strongly linked. In 2020, of course, the pandemic forced us to move online. And initially, we saw this as a limit, of our experience. But then it turned off quickly, and it became an opportunity, a change to reach more people, to raise also the quality of content and rethink about how we collaborate across distances. Then we set up a couple of editions and we temporarily stopped on 2022. Then we are now back, okay? Not to repeat the past, but to relaunch the format with new purpose and to seek new collaboration with more energy and ambition, but you will see the presentation. I also like the team that renamed this edition as Light Up Reloaded. I like the word reloaded because it reminds me a famous movie, okay? And right, so I mean, it's like in this story, like in the theme of the moving, it's not about just going back, but coming back stronger with new tools, clearer vision, and deeply believe in our mission. That was exactly, I mean, it meant to me, Light Up Reloaded. It's a kind of powerful moment to restart with injection, with intention to recognize peers and across border. It's really, really a good initiative. Also, this year theme, which is human capital, the engine of project success, I like it very much because it reminds me that behind every successful project, every strong innovation, every project milestone, whatever, there are people behind. And people, they can make the difference in a positive or negative way. So we need really, at the end, to have an ace on this. Finally, let me really warmly thank all the chapter invited, Slovenia, Croatia, Hungarian, and all our keynote speaker. You will see a very, very powerful presentation today. And let me also spend a special thank you to the Northern Italy chapter team with their commitment and passion. They worked a lot to make it this edition back. So thank you very much to all of you. Finally, I wish you an event filled of inspiration and energy. So thank you very much and enjoy Light Up Reloader 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Giuseppe. I'm going just to share some quick information before moving to the presentation of Aniko. As also Giuseppe was saying, this webinar has been a joint effort of several chapters. You can see that we have been involving a project management chapter from Northern Italy, from Budapest and Hungary, from Slovenia, from Croatia, and also from Austria. Today, in reality, we are going just to have 4 speakers because unfortunately we could not have at the very last moment the speaker from Austria that has in any case contributed all over the project to arrange this webinar. The format is the following. Probably some of you might have in the past attended the Light Up format where we were using deck for a duration of 360 seconds, so basically 6 minutes. Today, the presentation will take roughly 10-12 minutes, and we will have also some questions to be raised to each of our speakers, basically at the end of their speech, so that within 17 minutes we will be moving to the next speaker. So this is the format, a quick presentation of the deck, 10-12 minutes, question and answer, and then we move back to the next speaker. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Aniko Patkos. She's going to talk about drive the change or wear the blame. Aniko is an experienced project manager. She's working for a global premium beverage company. She has a lot of certification and a great experience. So I take the chance to pass to Aniko the possibility to guide us through her deck. I will stop sharing, and Aniko, please.
Yeah, thanks, Matteo. Thanks,
Okay.
Giuseppe, for your kind words. And in the meantime, I just shared my screen. Hopefully you can see it by now.
Thank you, yes.
So yeah, as Matteo mentioned, my name is Aniko Patkos, and welcome at today's session. I'm very glad that you decided to spend the time with us this afternoon. And let's just start with a quick intro of myself. So I'm originally a qualified accountant, but transformed into a program and change manager over time. I'm based in Budapest, Hungary. And as Matteo mentioned, I'm working at a global premium beverages company for 13 years now, delivering complex initiatives across finance, ESG compliance, and transitions between shared services. And I'm currently leading on the company's ESG compliance program. Okay, that's me. And so now, are you ready to hear about some shocking facts about change management? Let's see. So, since 2020, the average company now faces 9 major organizational changes per year, which is up from just 2 pre-2020. And 38%, which is basically 4 out of 10 of senior leaders, say that they would rather quit than lead another change program. And meanwhile, 37% of employees are actively resist change, which is driven by a couple of factors: mistrust, fear of unknown, and excluded from important decisions. Is it scary, right? So I believe many of us project managers can resonate with these statistics, unfortunately. And like many of you, I've managed projects where scope, time, and cost were more or less clear. But the real challenge was always people and how they will thrive through the changing environments. And with that said, I also admit that when I was asked about to talk about human capital, I thought, where do I, even begin? Because it's such a broad term. But when I look back at the projects that I successfully managed and succeeded, it was still because of the people, because of the capable, motivated, and empowered people. And I'm just echoing Giuseppe's words around this fact. In terms of the agenda of my slot, we are kicking off with some key terms to discuss about the difference between human capital and workforce. And then we will touch base on the project success and how human capital links into it. And by the end of the session, I would like to ensure that you are clear what is the role of human capital in a successful project delivery and how you can bring the learnings into life. And let's just start off now with some boring basics. However, I just would like to ensure that you are clear on what we are meaning by human capital, workforce, as well as project success. So with regards to the workforce, this refers to the group of people employed in an organization. It's more of a quantitative term, focusing on how many people, what roles, or which departments. For example, at the company where I'm working at, our workforce includes 28,000 employees in close to 200 countries. But in another aspect, when you come to understand human capital, you know, this word is more of a qualitative term. It refers to the education, the training, the talents, and even health of the people. It is more around collective term, referring to the knowledge, the experience, and creativity that the individuals are contributing when creating value for a business. So as an example, let's say when we are saying that we need to invest in human capital, this, for example, could mean that we are about to upskill our team in finance processes. So in a simple way, the workforce is the body of the people, and the human capital is the brain power, the energy, and the talent that those people offer. And these words are sometimes used interchangeably, but as you can see, there is a strong difference between the two. And I would like to ensure that you are also clear about this. And also to bring this to life, as you can imagine, an organization can have a large workforce, but if they are not investing in a training, in a leadership, or a knowledge development, it may still have a low human capital. Now let's cover project success. So PMI defines the project success as achieving the project objectives and meeting or even exceeding stakeholder expectations, covering the classic constraints, scope, time, cost, quality, and stakeholder satisfaction. I think we are all heard and very much know about this. However, from my experience as a program manager, there is another success factor that should be highly or surely considered, because what I keep hearing from the sponsors and the key stakeholders is that the path, you know, how we achieve the ultimate project goal, the way itself should be as important as the ultimate project goal, meaning how happily the project team can work together and how the leadership appreciate their contribution. Now let's see how we can leverage the human capital in a different type of projects. So I brought to you 3 specific real-life examples to demonstrate what you need to be very careful about managing human capital and what will be the focus areas. So in the first example, let's imagine yourself managing a cash transformation project, where the objective is to improve the cash forecast, which is triggered by the CFO's performance promise. So you will surely face with the challenge that the business analysts and the finance process owners should translate the sponsor's goals, like real-time and accurate data access, and they need to translate that into specific system configurations and workflows. So what you need to be very careful about is that, you know, how skilled and capable individuals are working on your project, because they need to bridge the strategy, the operations, and the technology. And this is important because without them, without these skilled and capable resources, it may happen that the new cash forecasting tool will go live, but probably fail to support the strategic long-term business outcomes. And in a second example, you are working on a shared service center transition project. In a classic way, you are moving roles from local operations to, let's say, center of excellence teams. You will face with the challenge that you need to manage the resistance by the local teams. That you know, many times happens because they probably and surely fear job loss or reduced control during this transition. So what you need to ensure as a project manager is how well prepared the change agent network that you are creating. And you need to have local champions who will help manage the cultural differences, explain the benefits to the impacted stakeholders and, you know, employees. Also, you know, they are going to support the smooth transition for you on your project. And also, you would like to ensure that the transition won't fail because of the, several other aspects like political, social, and cultural pushbacks. And in the last example, when you are managing a compliance project, just like myself, so let's say ESG regulation compliance program, you will face with the challenge that you need to be very careful with the legacy knowledge holders because they are the key players. They are essential for defining new data flows and governance models. Therefore, what you would like to be ensured is that you retain and transition the knowledge throughout mentoring and proper documentation procedure, also structured onboarding that you need to set up. And also you need to ensure the continuity and reducing dependency on external consultants because that always saves some money for the business. And also you need to ensure that you are protecting the long-term business value for the company. And with that, I think we are just approaching to the end of my slot. So let's just have some couple of words around the conclusion and as a summary. So, I believe the projects, the change agendas, and even project managers can succeed or fail, largely based on how effectively they are managing the human capital part of the business, how the human capital is mobilized, upskilled, and engaged. And also it's not just about having the people in place and on the project allocated in their roles, but also you need to ensure that those people are aligned and empowered. And most importantly, they are ready to sustain the change once you pass the go live. And I believe the more we recognize the people and appreciate their work during the journey, not just at go live, at key milestones, or at project closure, the more resilient and successful your projects and our projects will become. So we need to really take the time to engage, empower, and support the teams and the team members every single day. And last but not least, as a bonus tip from my end is, when the tension is around the corner during a project delivery, what I always use is a small portion of humor that also help making the journey for the team more enjoyable and also boost the team spirit every time. And that's all from my end. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you very much, Aniko, for the real cases that you brought in your speech. Then we have first question from Francesco, and I would like to ask you, based on his input, have you seen any good practices in projects that help people manage workload without burnout?
Yes. Thank you for the question. I think burnout is always a tricky and a challenging question, how we are approaching and how we would like to avoid it primarily. So from my end, a good example or a good practice is, kind of setting clear weekly priorities and also, limiting the active task per person in the project team, because in this way we can avoid overload. And also regular checkings would be very important to manage the project team properly. And it's also, not just on the project progress, so like, taking the bureaucratic type of admin task, but also on a well-being that will help surface the early signs of a burnout. And also what I believe would be very, very helpful in a project delivery is to intentionally build in buffer time for the team members after an intense period, which I think shows a respect for a sustainable project delivery pace.
Great, thank you very much. We have now Patrizio that is asking, be the one who makes the change happen. What, in your opinion, makes someone truly effective at driving change rather than just supporting it? And then, of course, he thank you a lot, you, for your insights.
Yeah, thanks for your question. I think it's also a good one because so when I say in my presentation that be the one who makes the change happen is always start with us. So I think during project delivery, we really need to play the role of a kind of role model, like leading by example. So how we are also managing the change will be reflected in the team spirit. So like how I'm going to accept and thrive through the changing environments will be showing the project team how they should also survive the ambiguity and the uncertainty during project delivery. And also, what I would like to emphasize in here is the open communication towards the team. So like as a project manager, not kind of delivering the administrative or bureaucratic type of task, but more around to get the project team and impacted key stakeholders into the meaningful decisions. And also ensuring that we are openly communicating with them, not just around key project milestones, but on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Aniko. We have the last one before we move to Antonio. So how do you make sure that the team members feel seen and valued throughout a long project, not just as at the end?
Yeah, I think this is a very important activity during project delivery. So how we are appreciating the team members' work, and also what I just mentioned in my presentation. This is something that the team members are looking after, and also the sponsors and key stakeholders are expecting from us as project managers. So how we are contributing to the appreciation of the project team. So for that, like bringing up a practice is that I make a habit of recognizing contributions in a real time. So not just at the project go live or at key project milestones or at closure, but when we are having small wins during project delivery. And also I think this is important to do both in a private and also in a group setting. So just to ensure that we have the trust between the team members. And also I'm ensuring usually that I'm having one-to-one conversation with the project team members when we can receive and provide feedback, real time, and also just support when needed. And also, as mentioned, celebrating the small wins are also very welcomed, especially when you are working with multi-generational project teams, because this keeps the motivation high and reinforces the, everyone's importance to the overall project goal.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for now. Now
Thank
we
you.
move. Thank you. Now we move to Antonio. Please, you can share your screen. So I'd like to introduce Antonio. Antonio is representing the PMI Croatia chapter. So we are going to talk with him about is the project manager guilty for everything? The title is very interesting. Antonio has a great experience and has been working on several projects covering several different roles. So I let him introduce himself, and thanks, Antonio, for being with us.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Okay, so I hope you see my slide. So let's go to the presentation of myself. As I said, so when you say somebody has a big experience, usually just means he's old. But I hope with this age also comes some grains of salt for the next project. So can you tell me if you see my screen, because I see something else is...
Yes, I can see your screen, yes.
Sure, okay.
Yes.
So let's move. So I'm more face for radio, not for this. So let's go to the next slide, which is the agenda. So I would like to cover the root causes of problems, which then point to some kind of blame game, and where usually the project manager is the one that takes the short part of the stick. So first of all, we have a plan, yes, and usually these plans collapse, and then we have a problem. And then somebody takes the decision that the project manager will take care of it, and it's nice to have somebody put you from your nice project to some other project which has gone astray. But then how you fix it, and if it doesn't work, who is the guilty one? So let's cover this part. The first 2 points will be very, very short. Of course, you need to do the planning. Hopefully, the project manager is doing the planning. And we know that plans usually don't realize. But what is most important, and this is emphasized by Ike's quote here, that although the plans fail, planning is everything, because in the phase of planning, you do assess the risk. You think about the plan Bs and plan Cs and so on. And at least you will be somehow prepared for the situation where your planning would turn out to be not so good because some risk appeared. And another quote from another military man, Helmut von Moltke, says that every plan survives only until the first contact with the enemy. Or as Mike Tyson would say, everybody's smart until he gets punched in the face. So this is also inevitable. Always there are changes in the project. And Aniko spoke about changes. The project is introducing change somewhere, but we also must introduce or embrace changes in the project in a way that we take them as opportunities. Sometimes these changes can create extra revenues for the performing organization. So let's plan that we will have some changes. The problem is, if those changes end up in a way that you have a whole project in shambles, that you have some kind of situation like this from this famous movie, where you're expected, like Steiner, to resolve the situation, but you don't have the resources, you have all kinds of troubles and restrictions, and on top you have some kind of a micromanaging stakeholders or project sponsor. What do you do then? Do you quit or do you keep fighting? So I always resort to the third general for the inspirational quote of the day, and that is that there are no desperate situations, there are only desperate people. So in order to move from that situation, realizing that you need to do something, you first need to take the ownership. And although, yeah, the world is not fair and projects are hard and everything like that, let's not make it an excuse. Let's fix the project and do it in several steps. First of all, acknowledge mistakes that you made or somebody else, admit failures and take ownership of all of them. But the important thing is that you develop a plan to come up with a way out of this situation. Yeah. So as Aniko said on the last slide or somewhere that you need to turn your workforce into human capital in order to excel and to make the most of your people. There is also a quote from Jocko Willink. He was not a general, he's just a Marine, but he wrote very good books and has nice podcasts. There are no bad teams, only bad leaders. And this is the best quote for taking no excuses. Yeah, I'm very good project manager, but you know, they gave me a crappy team and the vendors are crap and everything is bad, but otherwise I'm very good project manager. And if everything would be perfect, my project would be a pure success. Yeah, right. You need to deal with what you have. And this is the idea. What you need to do to turn this workforce into human capital, you need to hold them accountable. First of all, you take the ownership, but you don't micromanage. You let them do decisions if you explain to them the goals and the clear vision, and you hold them accountable. You need to do honest assessment of your team members, and you need to identify weaknesses or help them identify themselves. You need to have a coaching abilities. Then come up with a vision and a plan for every one of them, not your plan for them. You need to coach them to get up and present a plan to you, and you need to lead them to a better place. With that, identify weaknesses and plan for enrichment, then you can move further. But you need also to have discipline. Your team needs to have discipline. Discipline behavior, discipline habits, processes, discipline in tracking down time in worksheets, discipline to open Jira tickets, whatever. Sometimes they say, oh, discipline, it's just another load of something. No, it's not. Discipline enables you to have more freedom at the end. And freedom is, in fact, luxury of having a self-discipline. One more thing about discipline and motivation that we heard about also, Anniko said that you need to keep your people motivated. That's true, but motivation is just an emotion. It comes and goes. Discipline is something inherent in you, and it moves you every day a little bit further. So motivation goes up and down, but at the end, you end up where you started. If you combine it with discipline, which has a small but very, very steady growth every day, then you get some movement from the pit where the project might be in. So this is a combination. And at the end, after discipline, you will get more motivated. One more thing that one famous Stoic, Marcus Aurelius, said, it's not your mission to feel good, but to do good. Remember that, because after that, if you do good, you will eventually feel good. But if you go only for the quick wins and just to feel good, at the end, the results will not be that great. You will feel good at the start, but at the end, who knows? So these are some of the things that are the advices to somehow turn the human the workforce into human capital. But you need to have boundaries. When you have the, for instance, let's see this list. You take ownership of the project. You take extreme ownership. You have to be careful not to be micromanager as well. You need to exercise the decentralized command. You need to give people vision to do their own thinking and do their own mistakes and learn from them. You have to be humble, but not passive. You have to be a leader, but also a follower. You need to pass information upwards, but also downwards. Be confident, not cocky, and so on. There is a whole bunch of books about this balance between those two directions. And you need to, with experience, make your path, and through your wave of leading people, making your personal leadership skills, you find a way through these rails. Another thing which people forget, and it's very important also for younger generations that come into project manager roles or into any roles as young and unexperienced, and maybe they think they're not talented. That's not a breaking point. I mean, you can achieve greatness with no talent at all. It takes no talent to show on time, to listen, to have a positive attitude, not to just have complaints about everything. It takes no talent to say thank you, and more things about that. Also, you can Google and find a lot of books about that TNT. But at the end, if everything fails, who is guilty for everything? I think we should put your picture there. And yeah, I think that this is the answer.
Thank you, Antonio, because you brought in some nice and particular bullets, but also your attitude was nice to deal with it. So we have some comments and questions for you. The first one is Vedrana. Antonio, this was a fantastic presentation. Thank you. How would you deal with the stakeholders who take the project plan as a holy text and refuse to acknowledge that the plan needs to change to fit the reality, and that the reality cannot be changed to fit the plan?
Yeah, well, sometimes it takes a little bit of persuading, but I must say that in this world that we are living in, I rarely find stakeholders who would really stick to a plan as to a holy book or something carved in stone. I think that the reality around us brings a lot of arguments for you to persuade them that this needs to be evaluated from day to day, if not from week to week. I mean, we went through COVID, we went through wars that are currently happening every day. I don't know where is the worst. You have logistical challenges. You have political influences that change the tariffs and the prices of the goods and all the stuff. So at the end, if you can't help yourself with these arguments from the environment of the project, then, well, if they don't change, they will learn the hard way sooner or later, because something will hit them, either their customers or their distributors or somebody else from the outside, if you cannot do it from the inside, unfortunately. But you need to be persistent in telling them and bringing the arguments that why something needs to change.
Thank you. Next question from Andrea. You have a great experience with a project. How did you practice team member accountability in your teams?
Oh, one thing that comes in mind is daily stand-ups. And this is something came with the Agile, and I embraced it really dearly. And then you have the discipline Agile as well, which is also my flavor. Every day when you face your team members in separate groups, developers, QAs, whatever, or in just a project team, when you have daily stand-ups and they need to say what they did yesterday, what they didn't manage yesterday, what they will do today, what are their problems and everything, the peer pressure is putting also something in that pot that melts, and then somebody will have to do some changes. So this accountability is not only from the project leader, but also from the peers, from the team members. So daily stand-ups, this is one fantastic work, which is now changing through the early stage of the project. But then you have the regular meetings. And of course, as a project manager, if you experience some kind of lack of quality or some kind of performance issues, then you need to stand up and have a one-on-one discussion with the team member as soon as you think that it makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Antonio. What would be the key personality characteristic, according to you, for a project manager to take ownership? You have stressed a lot the importance of take ownership and also to practice with the team members. So what is your suggestion and comment about this?
Very simple. It's courage. It's pure courage. One of the things that in HR is very popular these days, they say the age of embracing ambiguity. This is the place we are living. All the time changes things, and we are not certain, and we don't know what will happen. But we need to move on. As Winston Churchill said, when you're in hell, when you're walking in hell, keep walking. And if you're put in a project manager position, have courage to take ownership, have courage to learn a lot, have courage to listen to different kind of people, and embrace their experiences, their knowledge as well, and take action.
Okay, great. We have maybe just last question or a couple of questions before the break. Thanks for sharing such an unconventional and refreshing perspective. It really challenged the way we usually think about change. Have you seen cases where detailed planning actually became a barrier to progress? What practical strategies help maintain clarity and direction without becoming overly rigid?
Yes, especially when you have waterfall projects or hybrid projects which are longer, let's say a year or more. Usually the transformational projects in telecoms takes even more time. Then I think the rolling wave planning would be more appropriate, because you plan a detail for something that is coming along early and leave in a high level overview the stuff that comes later. Because if you will do the detailed plan for everything in the next 1 year or more, it will not make sense, because after 6 months, all the things will change. You will change the vendors, the technologies. Things are changing on a weekly basis sometimes. So rolling wave planning is one of the, even the old version of PMBOK for this type of things, and I find it very useful as well.
Thank you. I would like to take the chance for the last one, because I think you're have been able to involve a lot of the people attending. So Nicola is asking, how was your mindset accepted within your organization, and have you combined in its elements in organizational PMO?
Let's say that my mindset also changed throughout the different organizations, and I always adopted to the existing culture and what organization had as a methodology for project management. It does not work that you go from one company to another and say, look, I'm a new guy, and this is how I worked before, and this is how I'm going to work from now on. It simply does not work. You need always to first relax, breathe heavily, deeply, and look around you, have the situational awareness, like Jocko Willink would say, and figure out what makes sense from your past experience in the environment that you're working on that would be embraced by the culture of your current organization. And if you think that there are places for improvement, then gradually you start to introduce some things that you think are missing in the organizational processes or in the artifacts they're using or in the way they're conducting meetings and so on. So that's a gradual process. And in that process, you also change your mindset and you change your thinking about what is the best way of working. And this, especially when you go from different countries to different cultures. And now when I'm working in various age-related environments, so from very young to even old as I am. And then you have to adopt even more, because some things simply don't work with some age groups. You cannot go to Gen Z and say, look, you need to be disciplined. That will not work. There are other ways to approach this guys. Yeah. Okay.
Great, Antonio. Thank you. So we have reached the break. So we see you everyone back in 8 minutes at 6:29. So please make a shorter coffee for the case, and we meet later with Sylvia and Gregor. Thank you.
Okay. I don't drink coffee, but I think this will do as well.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Silvia,
Dimmi.
parti tu con la condivisione.
Sì.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Silvia. So welcome. I would like to introduce to everyone Silvia. I think she has a great mix of skill and competencies. So she's PMP certified project manager, mental coach, emotional intelligence trainer. She's a digital project manager at SLB, and I think this is a very good start for your speech. Thank you, Silvia.
Thank you, Matteo. Thank you very much. Thanks to you for introducing me to the audience, but also thank you everybody here. It's really a pleasure to spend these couple of hours together. As you can see, I have a quite simple agenda, because in reality, there are really a couple of main points I want to share with you today. And these points are exactly what I thought when I saw the PMI invite for this event in my inbox. So I was in the office in front of my Outlook, and I saw the invite coming in. And I really had two thoughts in that moment. One, it's about a New York Times article, a very interesting one. I read a few years ago, because it's exactly about how to make successful teams. And the second thought was my current experience. I was really thinking of the team I'm working with at the moment. It's a team that was created in 2023 at the beginning of the year, still growing, and it's made of 9 members spread around Europe. They are taking care at the moment of a global digital deployment in the energy business, but let's say the kind of project doesn't matter. Let's start with the New York Times article. It's about Project Aristotle. This is a project done in Google more than 10 years ago. Imagine the situation. Google created the project team, was made by psychologists, sociologists, researchers, statisticians, and these people had a lot of data available to analyze. It was data from more than 180 teams, different teams within Google. What is interesting is that for almost 1 year, the team basically was not able to find interesting results. So they were analyzing the data, but no significant correlation among the data. At the beginning, this group was focusing more on things like, probably it's the manager who makes the difference, or maybe it's the perfect match of different competencies within the group. Before going on, I would like to ask you a question. So here we cannot interact, but take a few seconds and think in your mind, what do you think is the key element to create a successful team? Take a few moments, think in your mind, and then maybe you give me a thumbs up so I understand you managed to think of something. Good. So at a certain point, since results were not coming, the team decided to move attention to something else. And they started to focus on norms. Basically, the norms are the unwritten rules. It means the way the different team members relate to each other. And at that moment, they really started to find results. And what resulted to be the key element to create a successful team is the psychological safety. It means people inside the group feel free to communicate. They can speak freely. They can ask questions. They can discuss about the mistakes. And they also feel safe when they need to face a risk. There was another key point that resulted from the study, the second in order of importance. It's the dependability, meaning the team members work in a professional way and deliver high quality results in time. So, what is the other thought I had in that moment? I really thought about the team I'm working with. The reason is that I exactly see these elements in this team. In this team, there is psychological safety, there is open communication, there is a strong team spirit, there is really collaboration. If someone needs help, can really raise hand and ask for help. And there are always fairness and courtesy. And I also see the dependability because deliveries are always with very high quality and almost always in time. And the reason why I feel confident in saying that this brings to success is that if you look at the number on the screen, this is the latest client satisfaction score we got. I want to close with a quote. This is from Amy Edmondson. It's a Harvard professor. It's the person who first created the expression psychological safety. And she states, a belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes, and that the team is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. This is all from my side.
Thank you, Silvia. So we have some questions also from you, for you. So from Federica, we have what makes one group feel psychologically safer while another doesn't?
This is an important point because we saw that psychological safety is key, but somehow we need to create the psychological safety in the team. And again, this is the key role of the people. The people create a psychological safe environment. And I would say it's also a matter of responsibility, especially for the people higher in grade in that context, meaning a manager, a team lead, a project manager. So these are the people who can more influence the spirit of the team. And again, I can think of the team I'm working with. I try to pay attention as much as possible to these aspects because it's something I'm really interested in. But I'm also lucky because I'm working with a technical lead that is really paying attention to the people. And in my opinion, this really makes the difference because you influence the group. And so what happens is that at the end, the group follows you. And at that point, everybody contributes to the psychological safety. So this is my answer.
Okay. So the next is how do you build team spirit and how do you manage cultural differences in the team that is dislocated in several countries, as we understood your team?
With respect, we are I would say we are really used to this. I work for a multinational company, so it's quite common for us to deal with people from different countries, different cultures. And I would say respect first. You stay open to the people. You accept what is different from you are used to. And that's also the occasion in which you learn. So basically, with the respect, you can mixture all the different components of the group.
Thank you. Next one is from Patrizio. In your experience, have you seen teams succeeding or failing due to the presence or absence of psychological safety? I would appreciate hearing your insights. Thank you. Yes.
Maybe not really failing, but suffering, yes. Because maybe it's not the ideal situation. You don't like the situation, people don't like the situation, but I mean, with resilience, you go on. You need to deliver. The project has to continue. So I would say you do your best to keep on going and deliver results. But maybe at the same time you are suffering because it's really a situation you don't like.
Okay, thank you. Next is also based on your experience. Do mental coaching and emotional intelligence skill help develop human capital?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't mean that if you don't have these skills, you cannot develop human capital, but for sure they help. Coaching and emotional intelligence are two different approaches, but they have so much in common. If I think of emotional intelligence, for example, what it means, basically, you put intelligence, you put attention to the emotions. So you first become aware of the emotion, your emotion and the other people's emotion. And you also learn how to manage them. So let's take the example, you are angry. I mean, you don't hit the person in front of you, you learn how to handle your anger. And then there is another important point, because emotions bring information. So if you listen to them, you understand what are the needs, and they also tell you the direction in which to go. And this is something you do for yourself, and you can also do for the other people. And the step after, once you understand, I mean, I'm angry. Why? Why I'm angry? What is missing? What should be fixed? The next step is doing something, helping. I can do something for myself. I can try to help another person. So yeah, I would say it's key.
Thank you. Last question before we move to Gregor is how is psychological safety in team connected to company corporate culture? Wow.
Again, if I think of my company, it's something that the company is really introducing in the working environment. The reason why I'm an emotional intelligence trainer, it's because I went through an internal training given from an external company. And the idea is really to spread this state of mind, this approach to the whole company. Yeah. So someone is open to this, someone less, but you realize that when people come to the class, they give really very incredible feedbacks, and it's like a chain, no? So people start changing their way of reacting, way of behaving, in a way that really helps themselves and helps also the community. And so it's something that grows and grows and spread among the full organization with time, of course.
Okay, great. Thank you, Silvia. Now we are going to introduce, I'm going to introduce Gregor Androina. Please, Gregor, you can take over the screen. So Gregor is representing the PMI's Slovenia chapter, and he's going to give us his view from a different angle, based, of course, on his experience. And he will talk about value-driven PMO, where people make strategy happen. Of course, Gregor will give his view based on his experience, because he's a PMO expert. He's also founder and CEO, coach, instructor, and so we will appreciate this different angle of the topic of the day. And thank you, Gregor, for being with us. You are on mute, just in case.
Okay, thank you for such a nice presentation. So I'm Gregor Androina. I came from Slovenia, from PMI Slovenia, and I will be talking about value-driven PMO, where actually people make strategy happen, or have a lot of challenges, of course. So as said, I am a business owner of PML consultant. I have 2 decades experience from the industry, mainly from project management office and project management. Now I am actually twisted to the more, let's say, strategic delivery and PMO know-how, since I have invested a lot in this knowledge with, let's say, biggest global players like PMO strategy, so that I can help to supercharge strategy delivery and power clients with PMO like functions, and of course also spread and reshape regional PMO trends with PMO mastermind workshops and community and etc. and speaking and etc. So let's talk about why value-driven PMO really matters. Basically, because business owners actually want profit. We all know that, and other public services want some quality. And at the end of the day, they all want some return on investment. Let's say they want impact, not just financial benefits, and they want, of course, some return on their effort, which is indeed realized through human capital. So we have a challenge that 70% of strategy actually fails to deliver expected results. And there are some project-related challenges for that. First of all, it is complex work, and projects and initiatives are getting really intensive and complex. And further, we have always some limited resources, challenged also from too many projects. We have misalignment between projects and organizational strategy, which is leading also to waste of projects. We have difficulty in measuring project success and impact, blurring our focus on real stuff where the impact is happening. And finally, risk of project overload means leading to burnouts and efficiency. So let's talk about what does it mean overloading human capital, which is indeed an engine of project and business strategy success. There is a lot of reasons why project fails, but in experience, let's say global know-how, the typical root cause lies on overloading people, because typically, there is simply too much project in pipeline. So when is too much projects, we are facing with multitasking, destroying performance. So in this curve, we can see some comfortable zone where is right enough of work and right enough of projects we have to do, and this means some great performance. And we can also do better, but only for a short time, because we get fatigue if we don't rest in our afternoons and, let's say, weekends. If we don't, we get to exhaustion, we get poor health, etc. So performance drops. And guess what? Our triple constraint project problems increase. So more problem means more work to be done and less capacity of the same people. So while we do get overloaded, we do overtimes, we get fatigue, we make mistakes, we do reworks, we get in more multitasking, and productivity goes down. We get stressed more, we get illness and burnouts, and that means that we have less available human capital. Meaning that this is some way vicious cycle, which is leading us more and more to more waiting times, project delays, and of course, project managers become firefighters, doing less and less planning, risk mitigation, or change control. Ending in this vicious cycle of resource load with dropping performance causes, of course, project and strategy failures. Thinking about the solutions, we usually start that project management is a problem, and we focus more and more on execution of strategy and project lifecycle, and try to train staff, create processes, create templates and tools, implement tools. But for sure, we can do better projects with this. But at the end of the day, the question is if this is bringing the results for business. Is this the impact our leadership or our business owners want to see. So it seems like the strategy is failing, like 70%. It seems like that medicine is failing also. So because we have still a lot of ideas what have to be done, we have a lot of projects which are approved and not staggered into the pipeline. We have trouble to reaching benefits of those projects, and we for sure are not measuring value and impact of the projects enough to see what is really important. So getting into the blame game, of course, project managers are the ones who are usually guilty for time or cost delays and etc. And as said, we try to train them, we give them processes and tools and expect they will do better. But end of the day, we at value-driven PMOs have learned that this is like giving a patch or bandage to broken leg. Let's assume that project manager is a driver in a highway rush hour. This is our capital, Ljubljana, usual stuff every day at the morning and afternoon. And let's assume that we want to solve this problem and we are trying to give this driver a driving license or give him a faster car. We can understand that this will not work, right? So we must understand the bottom line of the problem, that this is just a symptom we are seeing, and we have to go to the root causes. So if you ask project manager, why is this happening? He will say, my team is not delivering on time. And maybe the team will say, it's too much work on my desk. So we figure out, end of the day, let's do resource management. And we start to plan resources and we see simply that there's too much work to be done for available resources. So what's to do? It's about prioritization. So we have to get clear what is priority, but guess what? When everything is a priority, it's the usual stuff, nothing is priority. So we have to figure out what are the values of the projects to be able to do prioritization. Bottom line, it's a lot of to mitigate. We have to start at the right places. This is, let's say, typical place. It can be different doing root cause analysis. But the point is that we cannot solve things by just managing and scaling up project managers and project teams. We have to start thinking about how to know, understand value of project, impact of projects, how to stagger projects, how to take control of intake of projects, how to cancel projects, and etc. So final solution actually cannot be the police who will solve this problem, as it cannot be PMO, some, let's say, controlling PMO, which might be police preserved. And for sure, it cannot be Uber, who has maybe 50, 100 cars in the rush hour. Like our business or program business owners in the company cannot solve traffic jams on project management. So what do? We need some traffic regulation. We need infrastructure like enterprise PMOs, whatever we call it. We need some functions to handle, to have information, to support leadership so that they can make informed decisions and govern project portfolio and do prioritization so that impact and value is delivered at the end of the day. And of course, we don't have any more rush hours. So let's talk about what is success. If we check ProSci change management, golden triangle, the project success depends on leadership, how it governs projects, and people for change. And yes, every project we do, it's about change. It's about changing environment, changing people, changing the way we do things. And there is a misconception on how to close strategy to execution gap. because usually they start with fixing project management, not all the way from bottom to top and vice versa. But we know better. So we believe we know that we have to know how to translate strategy goals to project goals. We have to know how to plan projects with available resources and respectively manage project portfolio in every level. Addressing also people side to engage and adopt as a new environment, which is project cost emerges. So we have to simply start thinking more strategically, manage complete cycle from definition, execution, and realization of strategy and projects. For start behavior in the project execution, focusing, changing focus from making best processes to making frictionless processes. And again, away from police control of processes and projects to maximizing project throughput. So we have to shift from our outputs to our outcomes, to our business focus mindset, asking ourselves, are we doing the right projects at first? Are we delivering value, ROI, impact, benefits for our customers or owners, business owners? Are we having the right mix of projects? Are we aligned with strategy to make the best outcome we can? Are we able and can we cancel ideas and projects before they take place and make, let's say, overload of people and bringing some additional stress and lowering productivity so that we can make more results? So I would say, as a, let's say, PMO consultant, what I see at my experiences and knowledge and clients, that first step, as I also have experience, is go out of office box. So you have to learn from the best, let's say, coaches, peers, partners, and it is a win for you since you are here and listening to this, because you will meet people, you will learn something, and you can build on your knowledge. Second advice would be get the best available know-how. Know-hows are not all the same. They are average or special or great knowledge we can receive. And we have to understand that knowledge itself is not a value. Only an impact, only outputs will not create our impact. Outputs are not outcomes. So impact is created only by application of our knowledge. And we should not forget that project management is not value-driven PMO. Value-driven PMO is business-oriented. And the point is, if we are project managers or PMOs, we for sure have to support businesses, and project management should support value-driven PMO so that this PMO can create some system connecting strategy, projects, and people. And in return, you will get some strategic navigator who will keep you off the rush hour. In conclusion, I would say that strategy execution must be managed. This is the most important thing. And we can start with focusing on business challenges and needs, translating business strategy initiatives to projects, prioritize project on future operational value, limit project intake based on available resources, manage projects execution on portfolio level, and remove projects execution friction, measure outcomes, not outputs, and learn and evolve. So that's all from me. Thank you. You're more than welcome to reach out with me through LinkedIn, through email gregor.pmoexpert.eu, or visit my site. For more, I am always available for any questions or comments. Thank you.
Okay, Gregor, thank you very much. Well, I must say that I felt that each of you has brought in different flavors, different topics, different contribution to appreciate the importance of the human capital. The title says the engine of the project. I think that one of the first questions for our roundtable that is going to start in a while is basically how can we create, sustain a psychologically safe and healthy work environment through complex project, long-term project and programs, because this is or these are some of the challenges that each of us is facing in the daily professional life. Since we are already in the roundtable time, I would like to start with this question. Then I have collected some of them also for Gregor. So let's start with the roundtable before also deep diving some topics related to PMO. I will start with Aniko. So Aniko, what is your idea, your comments on this important need to create and sustain a psychologically safe and healthy work environment through different and complex program and projects?
Yeah, so Matteo, thanks for the question. So, I think reaching these safe working environments are really challenging, especially on a long project, which is 1 year or more than 1 year. So I think we need to focus on several key criteria and things, and I just would like to mention a few. So first of all, I think we need to set an open and a respected environment when people can have meaningful conversations. Also, as we mentioned a couple of times, we are living in a very challenging and changing environments when the project teams needs to be acting as resilient as possible, and also they need to adapt the ways of working, not just for the sponsors or the key stakeholders' needs, but also for the project team members. So let me just brought in a practical example. So for example, in one project I was working on and basically recently managed, the business lead and myself, we just noticed that, the Monday meetings where we're supposed to set up the weekly priorities weren't working well. So people were not in a right mood, not in a right mindset. So they were even started to accept that the new working week has just kicked off, and as you can imagine, not on a positive way. So we decided to shift these meetings into the afternoons, just to ensure that everyone is getting ready for the kind of the tough week starting discussions. And in this way, I think we can build in trust for the team members, and also appreciated and embraced or embracing their mindset and the way how they would like to work. So I think that could be also a good practice throughout a long project, how you are embracing the project team members' mindset and adaptability. And, also at the company where I'm working at, we are really living our value, saying and believing that, the progress over perfection is better than being always 100% or even 150% perfection. Therefore, it might, sound strange, but we just introduced the kind of the celebration of failures beside the small wins. And this is because in this way, we figured out that we can talk openly, about what went wrong and what we can learn from the mistakes. And yeah, also these habits were just kind of inspired by our company mantra, because we are always saying that celebrating life every day, everywhere, at the premium beverages company I mentioned I'm working at. So we really live up for these values, and this works on a long run.
Okay, thank you, Aniko. I would like to hear from Antonio. What is your opinion and experience? Maybe, I don't know if you felt in the past, maybe the topic was less present than today, or what is your experience and comments?
Well, today I think the best thing to do is to introduce a dose of humor into daily life and presentations, some joys of quick wins, and somehow make life easier for everybody. People are working 8 or 9 to 5 and then waiting for the rest of the day. Then they're waiting for the weekend. Then they're waiting for vacation. Then they're waiting for retirement. And usually retirement is very short because of this change of stress. So I tend to advise people that they do what they like. And one quote is, if you find something that you really like doing, then you will not be working at all. So let's try to find joy in what we are doing, and then we will not be sad on Monday and waiting for Friday. And in the early days, of course, we helped a lot with a lot of alcohol.
Thank you, Antonio. Silvia?
I would come again on the topic of people are the ones who make the difference. And again, it's a matter of responsibility. There are some tricks we implement in our team meetings to, I would say they come quite spontaneously, but these are things that we do recurrently. So let's say on the Monday call, we always have some time for free speaking. So how was the weekend? What you are going to do this evening? Like with friends. So like chit-chatting, you can do jokes, whatever. This really creates a friendly and open atmosphere. So also creates a sense of community. And I think, I mean, it's simple things, no, nothing special, nothing particular, but there is always a space for a joke, a smile, this.
Okay, thank you. So now we are going back to Gregor. Of course, we have received many questions also for you, and many congratulations. For example, we have Nicola asking if you could try to explain the best approach to build awareness and buy-in at C-level suite to support organizational changes towards strategic and value-driven PMO. Should PMI PMO value ring framework be the right option?
Thank you for the question. So I would say that it's about changing the way we understand our surrounding, changing our mindset that we, as explained also in my presentation, we have to shift focus from process-oriented to business-oriented, meaning that we cannot talk with CEO suite with project management language because they don't understand it. They are business oriented, they speak business and they don't speak project management. So we have to shift from outputs of projects to outcomes, which are impact, which are the things business wants to achieve. So we really have to go into the details how they perceive success, and they have to be the ones who help us to create key performance indicators, etc., so that the things we are doing actually for them, not for project's sake, not for process, not for project management office police. So at the end of the day, we have to figure out what are their problems and start one by one solving them, helping them, so they will see that we are trying to help and that we understand the value they are trying to achieve. There is probably no CEO who would say, that's great that you have created 5 templates. Please come back next month with 10 more. Nobody asked for that. Everybody wants a solution for business because they are in business environment and everyone is surrounded with too much projects, too much work, and not enough resources. So I would say figure out business problems, start to solving one by one. As it goes for the value circle, value ring circle from PMO Global Alliance, we have to be aware that there is a lot of certifications which have some framework or some book. And unfortunately, there is too much times that this is the end goal to get certification and get students to buy actually trainings and certification, and then it stops. So the real value system is the one who has not just training, it has also means how to do it. And it has also some community where you can talk about things and learn by doing in a long run, not just with certification. And of course, that you can get beneficial support with them and motivation so that you can apply what you have learned. So I'm not 100% sure, but about Global Alliance, but I think it's recently just issued the book, so framework. It has a great background from PMI, so the support is great. Then again, I don't know if there is any PMO community about that. I think it's really in some way like if you're buying a software, the best software is the one who has support for you.
Thank you, Gregor. So we start up again our roundtable, and we have Patrizio saying, what stood out for me is how critical and important are people in making strategy work. So how do we ensure that strategy doesn't stay at the top, just at the top, but becomes also part of how people actually operate every day? So I would start, I don't know, with Aniko, what you feel about this importance of the people in strategy implementation, or maybe even related to project involvement. What is your view?
Yeah, so well, I believe, project managers and PMOs must shift from like being seen as kind of a bureaucratic enforcers, or, kind of being more around strategic enablers by focusing on meaningful and value-added collaborations, and also to align their roles with the business outcomes. And also this is something that I hear from the sponsors and key stakeholders. So like, showing up, not just like getting the status updates, but more around delivering the business value with the team, and also how to empower and motivate the team to perform at their best. So for example, in my recent project, what we have done is that we brought the project team into all the important decisions, and you know, even shaping the approach for the steerco meetings and the strategy for the steerco meetings, and ask for their inputs to you know, to perform their best to achieve the project goals. So not like kind of excluding them from the important decisions. So in this way they were acting as value creators on my project.
Okay, thank you, Anniko. Antonio?
Yeah, there is an old saying that the culture eats strategy for breakfast, and that's really true. If you have a strategy that is not in line with the culture of the organization, especially at the top level, then you can just put it in a binder and put it on the shelf, and it will stay there.
Thank you, Antonio. Silvia?
Of course, at the beginning, you create a strategy because you have scopes to achieve. But then you need the human flavor. You need to put this strategy in the context. So you need to listen and adapt to the client. And you also need to adapt to the team you are working with. So you start from a strategy written on a piece of paper, and then you look around, you understand what is the situation, and you adjust it a little bit, making the things happen as smoothly as possible.
Thank you, Silvia. For Gregor, maybe I don't know if you can give also your opinion, maybe relating it to PMO, the role of a PMO, the role of a PM, and the role of a change manager. That's it. Maybe 3 are enough to start.
Yeah, sure. From my point of view, as you also saw that golden triangle from ProSci, the change management is the thing we are usually missing in project management field. Because we are not aware that every project we do makes some changes to people, environment, whatever. And we are used to make schedules and work with exhaustion and everything. And we forget that we have to work with people. And I would prefer really to everyone who tries to be PMO that beside project management, you need leadership, connection, understanding, business language, and you for sure need change management knowledge to know how to talk to people, meet them at their level of understanding the change, not to push the change, try to figure out what they want to achieve, what is there with them, so what's in there for me, figure out what is their pain and try to solve them. So in that way that they will want to engage in early stages and learn about the change we are trying to achieve. And this will go along when the change is done, they are already on board and know why they are doing those things.
Okay, thank you, Gregor. Maybe we are just approaching the closing, so I would like to ask to each of you, I don't know, in 1 minute, what you think you have got, what you are bringing home after this webinar, and with the possibility to work with people from other PMI chapter. Anniko.
Yeah. So I think it was a very great session. I'm really glad that I can attend, as well as a speaker and also a listener to the other speakers. So I liked very much each and every presentation because, as you have also just said, Matteo, it just grabbed the different aspects of how we are approaching to the project success and the real engine of it. So yeah, again, I just would like to thanks for the opportunity to attend, and yeah, so really happy that I can work with you, and not just at the event, but also across the preparation period. It was really nice to meet and exchange ideas with all of you. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Aniko. Antonio?
Very nice cross-border cooperation. I really appreciate it, and I think it should just open a door to have more visitors among our national conferences. We have a couple of conferences in Croatia, a big one in Zagreb in November this year. Then we have other in other areas. So I think we should also exchange speakers and visitors from these conferences in the region.
Thank you. Silvia.
First of all, it was a pleasure. It is still a pleasure being here. Something that really I found interesting is also see the backstage, the preparation phase, as Aniko was saying. See the work you are doing to set up the event. And then also during the presentation was really interesting to look at the different styles, different input, different point of view. So I would say this is what I bring home.
Thank you. Gregor.
Yeah, I'm thankful for the invitation. I have been to a lot of conferences, just a listener. Last years, I'm also speaking and giving back, and I think it's great to have these multinational things, conferences and everything, because there is diversity and we have can learn so much, which we cannot do at home in our company, in our country. And thank you very much for inviting me, and wish you the best.
Okay, thank you very much. As you can see, maybe here we have also in the background Federica that has helped a lot, of course, with other team members. We had Patrizio, Valerio, we had also Francesco, and also other volunteer from the other chapter. So we have the possibility to work with all of them, from Austria, from Croatia, from Slovenia, from Hungary and Budapest, and of course from Italy. I think that for me it's very important and it was very nice to work with you. As I was saying, everyone has given a different point of view. Sometimes when just because we are closing, I feel like sometimes there are topics which I deal with the art. So some of you were inspiring my art, my soul. Some other instead, maybe like Gregor, were bringing the hard part of me, like let's hammer, let's do this, let's do that. Let's define a strategy, put in place all the action that are needed. And also, probably in my job, every day I struggle between being a project manager or a part of a PMO, or being just a normal person, try to work together with other people. And again, I really appreciated all of these different approaches and I don't know how to say, things that you have brought in this evening, but also during our internal session. So I hope that all the people in the call had good vibration from this webinar. And so I wanted to thanks again all the PMI chapter that contributed to this project, all the volunteers. Thank you to Aniko, thank you Antonio, thank you Silvia, and thank you Gregor. So also thanks to Austria that unfortunately could not have a person to join us today, but it was a pleasure. Thanks Federica, also to you and to everyone in the back office. See you next time and to the next episode of Light Up Reloaded. Let's hope and that we meet together. Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.